The Kumar family stood before their new home, a Victorian beauty with sprawling lawns and a wrought iron gate. Excitement bubbled within them. This house, with its high ceilings and antique fixtures, promised a fresh start. Little did they know, darkness lingered beneath its charming facade. The family, Anand, Priya and their two children, Rohan and Riya, stepped inside. The air felt heavy, unusually still. Priya shivered, a sudden chill running down her spine. Anand, ever the optimist, dismissed it as nerves. They were finally home. Days turned into weeks. The family settled into their new routines, but something felt amiss. Rohan swore he saw figures flitting past his bedroom door. Ria's toys would move mysteriously in the night. Footsteps echoed in the empty hallways. Faint whispers carried on the breeze. Priya felt it most acutely. A constant unease, a feeling of being watched. She confided in Anand, her voice trembling. He brushed it off as her imagination, but a seed of doubt had been planted in his mind. The subtle disturbances escalated. Doors slammed shut on their own. Lights flickered and died. One night, Priya woke to the sound of mournful cries echoing from the attic. Terror gripped her heart. Something was terribly wrong. Anand could no longer deny the reality. The strange occurrences were becoming more frequent, more sinister. He tried to rationalize, to find logical explanations, but deep down, a chilling fear began to consume him. The house seemed to be watching their every move. Pictures on the walls tilted, their subjects staring accusingly. Mirrors reflected distorted images, grotesque figures lurking in the background. The children, their innocence shattered, refused to sleep alone. Priya, her nerves frayed, started seeing things in the shadows, hearing whispers in the dead of night. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by a constant state of dread. The house was closing in on them, suffocating them with its malevolent presence. One evening, a haunting melody drifted from the old piano in the living room. It was a melancholic tune filled with an unspeakable sadness. No one was near the instrument. Riya, her eyes wide with terror, pointed at the keys moving on their own. The family huddled together, fear palpable in the air. The music grew louder, more insistent, a symphony of dread that reverberated through their bones. This was no ordinary haunting. Something evil had taken root in their home. Section 6. Descent into Madness. As days blurred into nights, the family's sanity began to unravel. Sleep-deprived and tormented by the relentless paranormal activity, they became shadows of their former selves. Paranoia set in, driving a wedge between them. Anand, once a beacon of reason, found himself questioning his own sanity. The house was tearing them apart, piece by piece. Their dream home had become a prison, a nightmare from which they couldn't escape. Section 7. The Night of Terror. The tension culminated on a stormy night. The wind howled outside, mimicking the terror that gripped their hearts. Objects flew across the rooms, unseen hands leaving their icy touch on their skin. The house was in turmoil, a vortex of supernatural fury. Rohan screamed, claiming ghostly figures were dragging him away. Priya, her eyes wild with fear, clung to Anand, her sobs echoing in the darkness. The line between reality and nightmare blurred, leaving them lost in a sea of terror. Section 8. Revelation. As the storm raged on, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. They rushed towards the sound, their hearts pounding in their chests. In the attic, they found Riya, her tiny body levitating above the ground, an unseen force holding her captive. Suddenly, the room went deathly silent. Riya floated gently back down to the floor. Standing before them, bathed in an eerie green light, was the apparition of an old woman, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness. Section 9. The Pact. The ghostly figure spoke, her voice a mournful whisper, revealing the source of the curse. She was once the lady of the house, unjustly accused and murdered within these very walls. Her spirit, bound to the house by a broken promise, sought not to harm but to find peace. The family, their fear replaced by a strange sense of pity, listened to her tale. The old woman yearned for her story to be heard, for the truth to be revealed. In that moment, they realized they weren't prisoners of the curse but potential liberators.